Hello and welcome to the Story Behind the Stories, your weekly look at the pages of the Neepawa Banner Press. Thank you very much for taking a little bit of your time, as always, and spending it right here with us on NAC TV. I'm Eoin Devereux, news reporter with the Banner Press, welcoming you as always. Well, maybe not as always. I took a week off yesterday, or last week I should say, but it was handled very well from what I've heard from Ken Waddell and from our co-host this week, Casper Wehrhahn. Casper, great to be back. Great to be here
once again, and going through another really full paper. We talked a bit about last week's paper, of course, when I was host on the show, and how full that was, and how I was starting to get a little bit worried as I was putting pages together, actually getting the content on there, but felt a lot easier this week, although we were still pretty tight for space.
That's right. And again, for those that may not be aware, I was out with the flu last week for a good portion of the week. So again, it was a case of Casper and Diane Warner, Ken Waddell, they were putting together the paper last week. And as you saw, if you picked up a copy of it, they did a tremendous job. I'll have a lot of pressure on myself next week because Casper, you're going to be on fortunately, you're going to be gone for good reasons. You're going to take some vacation time.
Yes, I'm taking some time off, just a little bit. Just going to be gone for about a week, and yeah, it'll be nice to have a little bit of a break. But we both of us started seeing the events popping up in and around the area, and there's a lot going on, so my condolences, Eoin. We always try and cover as much as we can as two reporters in the newspaper business, but we do need a lot of help from time to time, especially during busy periods like this, so we always appreciate submissions as well.
August is definitely going to be fun when it comes to all the different events that are going on throughout, not just Neepawa, but all across Western Manitoba in the area we cover. But that will be for another week, I'm sure, because we've still got enough to keep us occupied in this half hour of the show. And we're going to start off, as always, at the front page. And we are very appreciative. It was the Threshermen's Reunion and Stampede that recently took place. We got a number of pictures, George Penner and Jeremy as well from NAC TV. Very appreciative. They were down there and they were able to get a bunch of pictures for us. Because I was out with the inclement sort of, the flu and whatnot, we were very short-staffed there, so we appreciate that. Thank you, Jeremy, and thank you to George for stepping up in that way and helping us in that capacity, because we love being able to share some of the visual aspects of the Threshermen's Reunion each and every year. It's such a spectacular event, so much history, prestige, and heritage for it that really brings out the people, and you can see it on the front page. The grandstands are full to capacity for many of the events that go on. They came out en masse, as they do. So anytime we're able to share a little bit of that, we always do enjoy being able to do that. So you can see the visual aspect of it right on the front page of this week's paper. If you go inside, you're actually going to see a bit of a preview of another event that is very fast approaching. It's going to be happening on August 11th and the 12th. It's going to be happening just down the road to Gladstone, their annual fair. I got a bit of a special two-page feature on that with a write-up. I was able to do some writing and speak to some people about the fair coming up. If I remember right, it was Tara Fulton from the Ag Society. She was able to share some great information. They're very excited about that. They're chomping at the bit to be able to welcome new visitors, new tourists in there. They got a bunch of different special events set on, and they always try and make it so family friendly. That's the big thing, Casper, is, and again, I'm not saying other events aren't family friendly, but it's very important to have that little something for everyone, and Gladstone does a good job of that.
Yeah, you want to draw in people of a variety of ages to events like these. And they always seem to do a really good job of accomplishing that. From what I've seen, I've not been down to attend for myself, but we've had some people on the ground out there in years past, and they've gotten some wonderful photos of those events. And yeah, it looks like a lot of fun, but simply put.
I'll tell you, one thing they do very well each and every year is the parades. They have the children's parade that goes on first, and then they have the grand parade to open up the fair. And for a community that size, Gladstone is a smaller community, But when it comes to the parade, people show up and show out with that. They put a lot of work into it, and you got to be proud that a community has so much pride in itself to be able to do something like that and to showcase themselves in that way. So we did a special feature this week. It's in paper on pages 10 and 11, showcasing some of the different businesses in and around the area that are supportive of the fair, as well as the itinerary for the Gladstone Fair, and of course my short story on that. So hopefully if you're out and about on the 10th or the 11th, or maybe both, you'll head on down to Gladstone and see it for yourself.
Absolutely, and definitely take a look at the story, because there's a fairly special one-time occasion for the event this year, so definitely look at those details on page 10. You won't want to miss it.
Yeah, you put the tease on there.
I did.
You see, that's the thing. We got to get you interested, but can't give it all away, you know. So as well as that, we got another event coming up here, and this one was written up by Ken Waddell. It's only a couple paragraphs, but still hits all the bullet points. Alonza Homecoming, set for this weekend. And again, a little bit of the story behind the story. It's on page 19. It's a big headline. It's a short story. And to all the people of Alonza, I have to apologize. Maybe it wasn't as much as you'd hoped it was, but we had a last-minute ad placement. And as well, another ad that I kind of forgot about until the last minute. It was like, oh, where's this ad? Oh, geez. All right, where are we going to put this one? I don't know. What about here? Okay. And so we had to remove one or two of the pictures to go with the Alonza Homecoming story. So when it comes down to it, that's on me. That's my bad. So, but Ken Waddell still did an admirable job of talking about the homecoming. It's a little further away than Gladstone, about 100 kilometers, let's say, due north and then take a turn to the east. So, but it's still within our readership area. And just because it's a little further away doesn't mean we're not interested in it. We do want to be able to share those stories and those items of interest. So hopefully we'll be able to figure something out for the upcoming homecoming that is going to be going on. And again, they're celebrating 100 years as a village. That's a big deal. I mean, anything hitting that 100 mark nowadays is so notable. And hopefully, like I said, because we are short-staffed and we do have people on vacation and whatnot, I can't guarantee anything. I can't promise anything, but we're going to do our darndest to see if we're going to be able to do something on that. So, and again, I don't think I've ever actually been out myself to Alonza area. I honestly, I can't remember if I've ever been up there.
I don't think I have either, to be honest. But I hear it's a very nice community, and well, it sounds like this event will be a lot of fun. And it's kind of a double whammy sort of thing almost. Just, you know, with it being a good time, obviously, but then you have that history aspect of it as well, commemorating, you know, that story of the community, which is always great to see.
Most definitely. I'm just actually reading the story right now. Sorry, we read the stories, but we're reading maybe for spelling errors and whatnot. Ken never in the story anywhere says what date it's happening.
Oh, no.
He just says Saturday morning pancake. So just randomly on Saturday mornings, drive up to Alonza. So even if it isn't happening, you're still going to have a pleasant time in Alonza. It's really, yeah. So
maybe we can double check that and have an insert at the show. We'll have to see about that.
Those are the little picadilles of a small town community paper when you only got a few people working and one of them sick. So
yeah, and it was a busy day on Wednesday this week. So, you know, but yeah, that's just those things. Sometimes, you know, you're reading through for spelling errors, maybe a misnumber on something, but you still miss things, or you don't realize, oh, hey, I proofed this story, and I did do that. I read the words, right? Something's missing, though, and then you don't see it until after. You're like, darn it.
Exactly. There's been so many times over the years where we've printed the paper, and then you go over it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and it just all sort of blurs together. And then you'll look at it on a particular Thursday or Friday afternoon. It'll be like, oh, I spelt Neepawa with 3 E's. Oops.
I'm pretty sure I've done that once. Hopefully it wasn't on the front page.
I can say I've done it twice. Maybe once on the front page. Again, my bad. I haven't done it recently. Which means I have jinxed myself for the week where you're on vacation. It's going to happen next week. I guarantee it.
It'll happen.
Well, hopefully it won't, and hopefully we're going to have a nice, fun August on this, because there is so many different events going on. And Casper, you were able to get some information on one that we have talked about in previous years. Both years it occurred, I attended. I went out the first year, beautiful sunny day. Last year, it was raining, so it had to be held indoors. So hopefully this year it's not like snow or anything like that. And of course, we're talking about the wonderful rolling barrage that comes rolling through Neepawa. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely, yeah. I've got my fingers crossed that the rolling barrage is going to be the only thing thundering around Neepawa. I don't want to be caught in anything. Riders either, I'm sure.
That's a respectful golf clap. That's a pretty. That's all right.
Patting myself on the back. Sorry. But that will be happening on August 13th. That evening they're planning to be
And it's in the story,
yes,
August 13th.
It's in the story, August 13th. We got it this time. We got it in this one. Everybody clap, woo! But yes, they're planning to be here that evening around 6 o'clock, and they're going to go from Riverbend up to the Legion to enjoy a nice dinner. So definitely go out there, support them, take a look at their bikes. Of course, that's what they're there for. This is a great cause to have coming through Neepawa, and to be able to support because they are coming through. I believe the Legion gives them a bit of a donation every year. They have at least last year as well. But they do great work supporting people who are combating, PTSD, stuff like that. So, first responders, veterans, etc. So it's wonderful to have this being an event that we can support, because that is something that people on a normal basis perhaps don't really think about, but it's important to address and to have those supports available if you are dealing with that. So the fact that they are putting in so much work each and every year to raise funds and make those supports available is incredible.
Most definitely. And again, the first year was fantastic. Weather-wise, you couldn't have asked for better. It was a sunny, cloudless day, but it wasn't overly hot, so it was bearable. The roads and streets across the area where the rolling barrage of motorcycles and vehicles were coming through were packed with people. So it was wonderful to see that level of support. That really genuinely, the members of the rolling barrage were genuinely touched by the amount of support they received in a community such as ours. So that's why they came back last year. It didn't work out to the same degree because of the weather. It was raining, it was overcast, it was storming. So they didn't get that same response, but they still received a response in terms of so many different organizations, as Casper said, such as the Legion, for example, who stepped up and supported them with a presentation. So Neepawa is good like that they're able to support a cause, see their value, and support them in each and every way that they're able to. Hopefully this year as well will be another fine example of that. I guess we'll find out on the 13th. If you're around, I hope you go down there, check it out yourself. If you want to find out more information as well, the Rolling Barrage does have their own website and social media channels. Just sort of Google and search for Rolling Barrage Canada, Rolling Barrage Manitoba, and you'll be able to get all those details and whatnot from there. Or, of course, as you can see, you can get it in this week's edition of the Banner Press. The times, the scheduled times that they're going to be coming in are listed in the article, so hopefully you're going to be able to sort of plan accordingly on that. So much on the go. It's always nice to be able to have these types of good news little stories. And this next one, even though it's not an event per se, a specific event per se, it's still something that's very important. It relates to art, culture, and sports and supports. And that is some new provincial supports that are coming to several local organizations. About a year ago, the provincial government set this up. It's a support program to dole out some money to all different organizations and groups that enhance and improve art, culture, and sport within a community. It can be anything. I'll throw out examples for Neepawa, such as Arts Forward, the cultural center there, such as the Yellowhead Arena, which is very supportive of sporting events, such as the Roxy Theatre, which obviously is entertainment, so that falls into the arts and culture aspect of it. All those different things are examples of this. So many different groups all across Manitoba receive support, and there were 3 local that received some support. When I say local, I mean Neepawa directly, and one other one from Minnedosa. First off, the Yellowhead Center, the organizers and the operators of the Yellowhead Center received some money. And I got to refresh my memory to see what they received their money for. What did they receive their money for here? Because I know the Roxy Theatre got some money, and they're going to be able to replace all the carpeting inside the Roxy Theatre. I went down there, got a couple pictures of it, and it was like, oh yeah, you guys need to replace the carpeting. It's a little run down. It's a little messed up. Oh, washrooms, that's it. Yellowhead Center is going to be getting some money to help make their washrooms more accessible. I was speaking to somebody in the back there, and they said, well, hopefully they'll make the stalls a little bit bigger, because apparently you're just squeezed in there in the stalls whenever you're in there. So hopefully that'll be part of them making things just a touch more accessible. Now, the Minnedosa group, they got the biggest amount locally. They got $40,000 that is going to be going towards the new recreation center, the new arena. Recreation center. Everybody calls it the rec center, recreation center. It's an arena, you know. I'm old school like that. It's the old barn. But fortunately, the old barn is going to have a walking track around it now. $40,000 to construct a walking track on there. If you've ever been to Portage La Prairie, for example, and seen Stride Place, they have something very similar in their arena complex. If you've ever been to the arena in Verdun, they have a great example of it. An entire walking complex for people to use. So it's going to be something very similar to Minnedosa, something they've really aspired to sort of create out there. Their arena is almost done, actually. They're going to be having their grand opening sometime in September, from what I've heard. Exact date, we don't know just yet. Very much looking forward to it, though. All I've seen is the exterior of it. It looks pretty bare and basic, if I'm being honest with you. But the interior, hopefully, is going to be something above and beyond. So I guess we'll find out. And when we do, we're going to have those pictures for you in a future edition of the Banner Press. And again, Casper, I like this idea that the province is stepping up and helping out all these different groups in so many different ways. And not to get too political, it's a case of maybe it's about time. You know, they started this the spring of last year, and they do it in quarterly installments. So kudos to them to do it, but it's kind of funny that they're doing it so close to an election year.
Yeah, you know, that always seems to be the sort of perhaps a joke around the office that, oh, this is happening. What's the time?
Yeah.
It's about that time.
It's election time for them to spend money.
No wonder.
Yep.
Whether or not that's true, don't know, but the timing is always a little bit funny on that sort of thing, for sure.
Oh, yeah. But again, it's needed and necessary, so great to see those types of supports that are coming the way. Oh, I almost forgot. The third one I talked about, I mentioned 3, to a smaller degree, about just under $7,000, Neepawa Titans, hockey team will be getting about $7,000 to help out with the costs of running their prospects camp. So wonderful that they're going to be helped out. We're going to be talking about the Titans a little later on in the show. Boy, are we ever. But first and foremost, we're going to get through this next one. Yiddish School of Ukrainian Dance. It is a troupe that is based out of Winnipeg, has been in Winnipeg since 2019. They teach Ukrainian dance, and they are coming to Minnedosa in the very near future. And they're going to be setting up a couple day camps in Minnedosa. And they are very excited to be able to come to Minnedosa and share this type of dance, festive culture. I had an opportunity to speak with representation from them about that, about why they selected Minnedosa, what type of collective lessons are going to be a part of the day, and just the entire aspect of how many people from not just Winnipeg, not just Minnedosa, but all over, Neepawa, Rossburn, Russell, Brandon, they're going to be coming from all over, converging on Minnedosa to take a part in this event. And it's great to see small towns like this get something like this. I mean, it doesn't happen as often as you'd like.
Yeah, you know, this is something that, at the very least, speaking for myself, that I love to see happening in and around the area, just around in general, really, this sort of thing being established so that, you know, we can get more of that infusion of culture in our communities, because our communities are so diverse, but we might not always see those cultures out and about. So to be able to have this sort of thing available in Minnedosa, showing the Ukrainian heritage, celebrating it, and yeah, just sharing it with everyone is absolutely fantastic. And I gotta say, this is not necessarily relevant to my tangent I went on, but I love the photo that was sent to us for page 12 there to go along with this story. It's so full of color. I love the garb that they have on, very signifying of the Ukrainian culture in relation to their dance.
Oh, most definitely. It is fabulous. The entire culture itself. I knew a Ukrainian girl once. I'm not going to go too in depth into it, but she was very much enjoyed her Ukrainian culture, as did the whole family. So it was a lesson for me in more ways than one. But we'll just leave that at that. Minnedosa's getting a lot of good stuff because not only are they getting this, but they've already had the dragon boats come through. And Casper, actually, you had a chance to go and see them with your own eyes, didn't you?
Yes, I did. That was actually on the Saturday. I just noticed this. We're talking about missing little things here and there. I'd written it as July 28th. That's actually Saturday, July 29th. I think we actually circled one of those in a different part of the paper and then missed that one, but it happens. But yeah, they were out on the Minnedosa Lake on the 29th, and I had the opportunity to go out there, meet all of the team members. There were members from Waves of Hope, Brandon Blaze, and the Turtle Mountain Torrents. Get acquainted with them a little bit, watch them do their practices, and get out on the water. And I have to say, it was pretty awesome to watch them have their fun days. They did a variety of events. I was there for the full morning. And once they get moving in those boats, it kind of takes you by surprise, but they really do go quite fast. They got from the dock to out where they were doing their sprints and all that in a matter of seconds. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I could do that without getting out of breath.
It is impressive. That you should see it with your own eyes if you ever do get the opportunity, because as Casper said, they do get going. It's really impressive. Mm-hmm. Now, if you can't, though, fortunately, you can see those pictures in this week's edition of the paper, and as well the Ukrainian story we just talked about, the School of Dance. You can find that on page 12 of this week's edition of the Banner Press. We got about 5 or so minutes left. Oh geez, we're in for a treat now. This
segment will mostly be Eoin.
Oh, Casper, you can just sort of relax right now, because one last story. There was so much more we could talk about in this week's paper, but that's why you got to pick up a physical copy of it. This story is not even full yet. I'm going to have more details in next week's edition of the Banner and Press. Just ran out of space to be able to talk about the Neepawa Titans annual general meeting. It was held earlier this week in the back room of the Neepawa Library. Oh geez, got to take the glasses off for this one.
Oh no, it's serious, everybody. Buckle up.
Unfortunately, it was another bad year financially for the Neepawa Titans. All in all, the loss this year for the team is $89,251. That is the largest single year-over-year loss the team has seen since I've come back here and started working. It is a very unfortunate reality for a small market club such as Neepawa. Everything has to go perfectly when it comes to making a profit. Since 2015, it's happened twice. They've made a profit 2 years. One of those years, they didn't play any games. They played 10 games, and then the season shut down because of the pandemic. That's why they made a profit, because they didn't have to spend any money. And the other one, I remember this because I'm not taking credit, but I was a board member for 2 years, and I saw everything that went on behind the scenes and was a big part of a lot of the events that went on. And that year, everything went perfect. The sports dinner was sold to capacity. The lottery was sold near capacity. The team made the playoffs and had a great run in the first round. Big houses, big attendance for the games. The team made a profit that year of $1,300. Everything went nearly as perfect as you could have hoped for, and they still only made a profit of $1,300. That tells you how difficult it is right now. And if you read the article, I shoot straight with you on this. This coming year is their 35th season in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League. And this is my opinion. This is not the opinion of NACTV. This is not the opinion of the Neepawa Banner Press. And it might not be your opinion. This is just my opinion. And I can be wrong. I've done it many a time. But I am not confident in any way, shape, or form that there will be a 36th season right now. I have zero confidence whatsoever. And the worst part is, it's not the team's fault. It's not the board members' fault. Looking through the numbers, they spent wisely. They did everything they could to keep the budget within limits. Just the inflationary costs over the last 2 years have gone sky high and have cost everything's more. Bus travel's more, uniform purchases is more, arena rentals are more, its billet costs are more. It's very unfortunate and it's frustrating because I think Neepawa is better off with having something like this than they are without. And like I said, it'd be a darn shame if we didn't have it. So even if you're not a fan of hockey, even if you're not a fan of the Titans, maybe find some way to support the team in any way, shape, or form. Buy a lottery ticket. Buy some season tickets. Give them to somebody maybe who likes hockey. Anything like that. It would be greatly appreciated. And like I said, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong on that. But you cannot lose those types of numbers year in and year out and expect to be around very long. So hopefully this is a turnaround. But in order for this to turn around, it needs your help. So I hope you will step up. That's about it for me. I'm off my soapbox for this week. So if you want to learn a little bit more, that's why you got to pick up a copy of the paper. And maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. Send us a letter. Send us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Or if you have any story ideas, we always appreciate that. Well, maybe not right now because I'm swamped with story ideas right now, but under normal circumstances, we're very appreciative of it. And you can contact us at 476-3401. That's the number we can be reached at. Or email at news@neepawabanner.com. We try to chase down every story that we can. Sometimes time does not allow, but we'll try, most definitely. So that's about it for this week. Casper, good to have you in, and hopefully you have a good vacation.
Good to be here once again, and I'll be sure to put my feet up. You can bet on that.
And maybe you'll catch the show next week and go, it's not as good as when I'm on there. Yeah. Oh, well. But as always, we appreciate you as well for tuning in and putting up with our shenanigans. We appreciate you, and thank you for tuning in to the story behind the stories. Have yourself a great week.